For many years, Jenna Hager has been a beloved visitor to our home. Her genuine compassion, infectious warmth, and friendly counselor who put her at ease. She has navigated life's journey from presidential daughter to adored television personality with an open heart and an unwavering spirit. Today, though, we'll be looking at an incident that upended that cozy comfort. An outburst of uncontrollable emotion took center stage. Following a devastating diagnosis, Jenna Hager revealed something poignant. Millions of people watched, and the tears, the vulnerability, the enormous pain seemed to validate our darkest fears. It sounded like a story of personal anguish and a futile fight against a fatal illness. What if this horrible diagnosis, which was initially seen as a personal tragedy, became an unexpected catalyst for an even more profound monument to her fortitude, strength, and persistence in the face of an unimaginably twisting cause, rather than the terrible conclusion it seems to be? You'll be amazed by the amazing story of resiliency, hope, and a groundbreaking medical achievement despite Jenna's tragic diagnosis and painful confession. Jenna made the statement abruptly, her eyes visibly swollen with tears and her voice trembling. She described a dreadful diagnosis that had rocked her life and put her basic basis to the test. Millions of people were struck by the sincere emotion she displayed, despite her often cheerful and optimistic demeanor. I was devastated to see how frail she was. The idea of receiving a horrible diagnosis conjured up images of terrible doctor's appointments, heartbreaking discussions, and an unclear future. They were all holding their breath with deep sadness for Jenna, Henry, and their kids. It endangered the sense of security we all shared. This is a depressing example of how life's unexpected events can bring down even the most strong people. An update on a celebrity's health? Absolutely not. It was a devastating blow to the viewers who had become emotionally invested in her. People everywhere were preparing for a bloody conflict, for a tale of adversity and success. Even still, there were subtle anomalies in this initial shock, elements that were purposefully positioned to allude to a much larger and more complex narrative. What if this terrible prognosis wasn't the end of the world, but rather the start of a story of extraordinary courage and a groundbreaking medical endeavor that required her powerful voice? Jenna's devastating confession was viewed by millions as a demonstration of pure human frailty. She talked about the shock, fear, and introspection that accompany such a dramatic shift. She was disarmingly honest. Her tears are a mirror of the fears and concerns that each viewer feels or imagines. The outpouring of love and support was swift and surprising. Messages of solidarity, prayers, and personal stories flooded social media. She went beyond being a well-liked TV personality. It highlighted how relatable she was despite facing an incomprehensible challenge. We saw firsthand the sorrow of a heartbroken mother facing a terrible future. She seemed to be acknowledging her intense battle and getting a final confirmation of how terrible her health was. But hold on a minute. The tricky line between sharing too much and keeping too much private has been skillfully negotiated by seasoned public figure Jenna Hager. Even though her emotions were sincere, what if the timing and severity of her public admission had a purpose beyond her own grief? Consider the possibility that it was a staged action designed to garner attention for a much more revolutionary purpose, one that needed her powerful, sympathetic voice to truly resonate, rather than out of any compassion. As the initial wave of sympathy for Jenna increased, astute observers began to observe that her sad diagnosis was rather vague, particularly in the medical and academic sectors. No specific diseases were mentioned in the public domain, no conclusive diagnosis was made, and no immediate treatment plans were discussed. The ambiguity of it was odd and unsettling. The dramatic confession seemed to go against the fundamental value of maintaining privacy, and the subsequent silence on specifics felt inconsistent. There were subtle, almost imperceptible hints of a classic presentation, complex considerations, and a revolutionary approach. It was more realistic to characterize rumors of a miracle recovery as hints of a carefully prepared play. Co-host of Today with Hoda and Jenna Hager is well known for her warmth, contagious smile, and grounded demeanor. Recently, however, her typically positive manner gave way to a surge of raw emotion and vulnerability that resonated with her audience. Viewers were moved by Jenna's candor and fortitude in the face of such a personal difficulty when she made an emotional confession about a dreadful diagnosis she had received in a heartbreaking segment on Today. Many others saw Jenna Hager's emotional transparency as more than just her difficulty. It served as a potent reminder of the bravery required to confront hardship and the value of sharing personal stories to make others feel less isolated. Following her confession, Jenna received a tidal wave of support from her admirers, co-workers, and even celebrities who came together to support her during this trying time. The following examines Jenna's courageous disclosure, the effect it had on the Today audience, and the lessons we may all take away from it. A vulnerable moment on live television. Public scrutiny is nothing new to Jenna Bush Hager. Her life has been in the news since she was a little girl because she is the daughter of former President George W. Bush and former First Lady Laura Bush. By juggling her roles as a journalist, author, and television personality while retaining a close, personable relationship with her audience, she has developed into a significant figure in her own right throughout the years. However, fans were left in wonder when Jenna revealed a very intimate aspect of herself during one tearful Today episode. Before Jenna announced the news to their viewers, she and her co-host, Hager, had a private moment together. Jenna clarified that she was surprised to learn that she had been diagnosed with a medical problem. As she talked about the anxiety and uncertainty that came with the diagnosis, she was overcome with emotion. She also thanked her family and friends for their support. Millions of viewers, many of whom had experienced similar things themselves or had loved ones who had dealt with health issues, found solace in Jenna's unvarnished, unadulterated feelings. In addition to humanizing her, her choice to open up about such a private aspect of her life gave those who might have been suffering in silence a sense of support. Emotional confessions power. Vulnerability has a tremendous force, particularly when it comes from a public figure who has always come out as so calm and collected. Jenna's admission demonstrated to the public that everyone struggles with personal issues, regardless of how powerful, accomplished, or self-assured they may appear. In addition to making her more approachable, her vulnerability let viewers relate to her more deeply. It was a moment that reached beyond the realm of television and spoke to a universal reality. Nobody is above adversity. Jenna's candor turned into a strength for a lot of fans. They recognized the value of discussing one's troubles with others and the bravery to confront one's worries head-on in her. By doing this, Jenna reminded her audience that they are not alone in their challenges and urged them to join her on her path. She was a woman with the same doubts, anxieties, and vulnerabilities that everyone faces. She was more than just a television host. Jenna's network of friends, family, and coworkers, Jenna Bush Hager acknowledged the amazing support system she has around her, which was one of the most impactful parts of her tearful confession. She spoke adoringly of her family, including her husband, Henry Hager, and their 3 children, who had supported her without wavering as she disclosed her condition. She also talked about how her parents, former First Lady Laura Bush and former President George W. Bush, had supported and encouraged her throughout this trying period. Jenna's capacity to rely on her loved ones during such a trying time emphasizes how crucial it is to have a solid support system. It acts as a reminder that nobody should ever have to face difficult circumstances alone, and that asking for support from those closest to us is an essential step in the healing process. Jenna's capacity to move ahead was also greatly aided by the support she has gotten from her Today family. Her longtime co-host and close friend, Hager, supported her through every stage. Hager's words of consolation and support, which reminded Jenna that she wasn't fighting her war alone, demonstrated their strong friendship. It was a strong demonstration of camaraderie and unity, highlighting the value of having supportive people in trying times. The effect on the audience, hope and unity. Jenna Bush Hager's audience was deeply affected by her heartfelt admission. Numerous people offered their support via emails, social media, and encouraging messages as she revealed her vulnerability. Numerous people expressed their appreciation for Jenna's candor and the sense of community it fostered as they related their own experiences dealing with health issues. Discussions concerning the significance of putting one's health first, being honest about difficulties, and providing support to those who might be facing comparable difficulties were spurred by the segment. In addition to bringing attention to her illness, Jenna's candor allowed her audience to feel vulnerable and ask for assistance when necessary. Along with the overwhelming support, Jenna's confession demonstrated the power that comes from facing one's anxieties and maintaining hope even in the most hopeless circumstances. Her vulnerability became a symbol of resilience, demonstrating that we can still muster the courage to go forward even when life presents us with unforeseen obstacles. Jenna's remarks served as a reminder to many that it's acceptable to feel bad occasionally and that it's crucial to rely on other people when things get difficult. The legacy of Jenna, a light of vulnerability and strength, As a bright, kind, and ambitious lady who has established herself outside of her well-known family, Jenna Bush Hager has long served as an inspiration to many. However, her impact has only grown deeper with her recent dramatic disclosure of her medical condition. Jenna has not only demonstrated her tenacity, but also the strength of vulnerability by deciding to share such a private and intimate event. Her tale serves as a reminder that discussing our difficulties and asking for help may be a source of strength, no matter what obstacles life throws at us. Many people have been moved by Jenna's confession to talk about their own difficulties, accept their weaknesses, and turn to their loved ones for support. By doing this, she has demonstrated that despite hardship, we can still find connection, hope, and the fortitude to go on.